I hope you're doing well today. We're going to be looking at the end of Genesis today as Joseph speaks to his brothers once again. Our hymn today is called Lord, at thy table we behold.
Lord, at thy table we behold the wonders of thy grace, but most of all admire that we should find a welcome place. What strange surprising grace is this, that we so lost have room, Jesus, our weary souls invites and freely bids us come. Ye saints below and hosts of heaven, join all your sacred powers. No, there is like redeeming love, no Savior is like ours.
Let's look at our passage together now. Genesis 50 at verse 15. Chapter 49 is when Jacob blesses all the sons. And there are many things that are prophetic in that account when he calls all of his sons to him. And chapter 50 begins with Jacob passing. Verse 15, now when Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, perhaps Joseph will hate us and may actually repay us for all the evil which we did to him. So they sent messengers to Joseph, saying, before your father died, he commanded, saying, thus you shall say to Joseph, I beg you, please forgive the trespass of your brothers and their sin, for they did evil to you. Now please forgive the trespass of the servants of the God of your father, the servants of God your father. Joseph wept when they spoke to him, it says. You can tell from the account the brothers are still extremely guilt-ridden. And they're worried that Joseph is going to suddenly want to avenge himself. But you know, when Joseph first reveals himself to them, you know, he wept on Benjamin, and then he spoke to the brothers in that account. And I mean, that's been a significant amount of time before this. There in Genesis chapter 45, when he tells them, I will provide for you, and lest you and your household and all that you have come to poverty. All these things he fell on his brother's Benjamin's neck and wept. That's chapter 45, verse 14. Verse 15, moreover, he kissed all his brothers and wept over them, and after that his brothers talked with him. And so there he has already spoke kindly to them, and yet they are still just as guilt-ridden. You can tell they're still guilt-ridden. Might be kind of be hard to forget all the things they had done to Joseph. And might be like David, my sin is always before me. Given the current situation, there they are in Egypt. It's kind of hard to forget what you've done. And so they think maybe now that Dad's passed, maybe our younger brother is going to finally do justice as it is. You might notice Joseph wept when they spoke to him, and I was looking up all the times in Genesis where it talks about Joseph weeping, and it's pretty often. It's pretty often. Weeping, crying out. He cried out from the pit. We know that. Talks about him weeping more than once. And here he's weeping again. Why does Joseph weep again here? You might think about all the things that have happened. And again, Joseph had wept before this pretty often. The brothers come, they're in verse 18. And they fell down before his face, and they said, "Behold, we are your servants." And this might be the fulfillment of that prophetic dream that he had had when he was 17. That falling down before him. You might think about that. They didn't just fall down before him when they needed food. Here they fall down before him, and they are begging for mercy. And when you go back and you look and you think about, why did Joseph weep? And you think about all the time that he lost with his father, with his brother Benjamin, weeping over the injustice that was done. Remember what he tells in the account of the butler and the baker, and he's like, "Remember me, please, when you get up to Pharaoh." And he's forgotten about still for, I think, whatever it was, 2 more years. When his brothers first come and they start talking amongst themselves, and they don't realize that it's Joseph, and Joseph has to go weep. And throughout those interactions, he weeps more than once. But you go through and you read all those, and I could be wrong about this, but I'm not sure if it's ever recorded that his brothers said, "We're sorry. Please forgive us." I would hope that they would have said that before. I would hope. But I don't think it's ever recorded. Like I said, I could be wrong about that. If I am wrong, leave it down in the comments. That's fine. But this may be the first time where they initially send word to Joseph, messengers, asking for forgiveness, but then they come and they fall down and they say, "We're your servants." This may have been the first time where they finally said to Joseph, "We're sorry." And Joseph wept. Like he has endured much because of their iniquity. And Joseph wept. His brothers fall down. Joseph says to them once again, "Do not be afraid, for am I in the place of God? But as for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, in order to bring it about as it is this day, to save many people alive. Now therefore do not be afraid, I will provide for you and your little ones." And he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. That phrase there, "spoke kindly," literally means he spoke to their heart. And that he wasn't just going to take care of their physical needs, he also comforted them and spoke kindly to them. He was gracious. He was gracious with them. And yes, he could have avenged himself, but he's not in the place of God. They meant it for evil, and God meant it for good. And so as we think about ourselves and we think about the Lord, and we behold the wonders of his grace, and what an amazing thing it is that we should find a place at the Lord's table, and that he is gracious and he is kind, and he speaks to our hearts. We don't deserve it, and so we are thankful for it, for sure. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good day. Join us tomorrow for another portion of our daily praise.